Once all the delta ij's have been calculated, you can check whether you have reached optimal solution or not. If all the delta ij's are negative, that means all the opportunity cost associated with each unoccupied cell or unselected route is negative, then the solution is optimal and unique. That means the transportation cost you obtain, that is the least cost you have obtained, the solution is unique. That means the transportation schedule is single schedule is available that will give you minimum cost. If all the delta ij's are either negative or if some of them are zero, that means not a single delta ij is positive, either it is negative or some of them are zero, you have reached optimality but the solution is not unique. That means there is again alternate schedule is available. That means multiple optimal solution case is there. If any of the delta ij is positive greater than 0, that means the solution is not optimal. So if the solution is not optimal, that means you haven't yet reached the minimum transportation cost and you can further improve the transportation cost. In that case, you have to go to step 4. Step 4 says that identify the highest delta ij and draw a closed loop from that cell. The closed loop will include only horizontal and vertical lines. It starts from the highest delta ij cell and then moves to other cells in straight line only to turn from an occupied or allotted cell and then returns to the starting cell. So what does this mean? Let's see the problem here. We had positive opportunity cost which is associated with cell 2 2, that means second row, second column. So in this cell we need to allocate goods. So how to determine how much to be allocated? So I have written the same problem here. This is the cell 2 cell 2 in this we will allocate goods. So for allocating goods we need to draw a closed loop starting from this cell, and that loop should have either horizontal lines or vertical lines but no diagonal or circular lines. Once you draw the loop, it should start from here. It can go downward or upward. The rule is it can go to any cell but it can make a turn from an occupied cell only. So here goods are allocated, right? 8 goods are allocated, so I can make a turn from here. I will go to this cell. I cannot make a turn here because this cell is not occupied, so I cannot make a closed loop like this. So I will go further, so I will go here. So horizontal line. Now here goods are allotted, so I can make a turn here. I will go here. Remember, I need to make a closed loop. That means I have to reach to the starting point. A loop will be formed so that it starts from here and it ends here. So I have gone here. I can make a turn here because here allocation is done. If I move further above, I can make a turn here, but then I have to go here because I cannot make a turn here and I cannot reach here. So I will turn here and then I'll move to the original point here. So you can see this is a closed loop, just like this. So the loop would consist of horizontal and vertical lines, no diagonal lines, and it can make a turn in the allocated cells only. It cannot make a turn here because here no goods are allotted. Once you have drawn the loop, then go to step 5. When you get the closed loop, add or allocate goods to the starting cell. You have to add goods to the starting cell and then you have to balance the corner of the loops by addition or deletion of goods. The allocation of goods to the starting cell will be minimum of the allotted goods at the adjacent corner. It says that in this cell goods will be allocated. So how many goods will be allocated? You have to see the adjacent corner. its adjacent corners are this cell and this cell. These are the adjacent corner. This is not the adjacent corner. So if you are adding goods here plus, if you are adding goods here, that means you have to subtract goods from here and you have to subtract goods from here, so that the total supply and total demand remains same. Now when you are subtracting goods from here, you need to add goods here, right? So this is minus plus minus plus, so that all the supply and demand requirements remain same. How much I can allocate goods here? It will be the minimum of the corner points, goods allotted at the corner points. So here 2 goods were allotted, here 8 goods were allotted. So how much I can allot here? I will add 2 goods here, minimum of 2 and 8. So I will allot 2 goods here. If I am adding 2 goods here, that means I have to subtract 2 goods from here. So it is minus 2. I have to subtract 2 goods from here also, minus 2, and then for balancing I have to add 2 goods here. It is plus 2. Once I have done this, plus 2, minus 2, here minus 2, plus 2, then I will write the problem again in a fresh page and I will write the new allocations. So in the new allocation, here 2 goods will be there and here 2 minus 2, that means 0 goods will be there. So let's write the new allocation. So this is the transportation problem, and if I want to write the allocations for all the problems where no changes were there, I will write it as it is. So for example, 5 goods were here, 5 goods were here, 2 goods were here, so there is no change. And then I will write for that cell where the changes have been made. So remember, here 2 goods were added, so I will now write 2 goods here. Here 2 goods were deleted. So earlier here 8 goods were there. If you see here, earlier here 8 goods were here, so 8 minus 2, it will be now 6. So this is now 6. Here 2 goods were there and minus 2, 2 minus 2, 0. So now this becomes unoccupied cell. So I am not going to write anything here. In this cell 7 goods were there. 7 goods were there in this cell. Now the last cell here 10, and then 2 goods are added here. So 10 plus 2, it will be 12. Ultimately all the supply and demand constants should be there, should meet. So here 5, so 5 is demand, 6 plus 2, 8, 7 is 7, 2 plus 12 is 14, and if you see the supply side also, it is meeting the supply requirement also. So now this is the new allocation. Now whether this new allocation is giving us minimum cost or not, we have to apply again step 1. That means we have to calculate U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3, V4 and check the optimality. So with the new allocation of goods, the step 6 says that with the new allocation of goods, rewrite the transportation problem and again repeat step 1 to step 3 to check the optimality of the solution. If the solution is optimal, stop and calculate final transportation cost. If the solution is not optimal, repeat step 4 and 5 until optimality is reached. So now with the new allocation, we will again check whether this solution is optimal or not. So we will repeat the step 1. Step 1 said that we have to find out U1, U2, U3 and V1, V2, V3, V4. For each occupied cell, U1 plus V1 should be equal to C11. Similarly, U1 plus V4 should be equal to C14. So first you have to assume U1 is equal to 0. If U1 is equal to 0, what should be V1? It should be equal to the addition of 0 plus V1 should be equal to 19. So that means V1 is 19. Then we cannot get V2 for this cell because this is not occupied, we will calculate the UIs and VJs for occupied cells only. So we'll go here. So if it is 0, V4 should be equal to 10, so that we get the C14 equal to 10. Then again next occupied cell is here, V4 is 10. So what will the value of U3, so that we get it 20. So 10 plus 10 is equal to 20. So this is 10. Then this cell, this is again occupied cell. So 10, how much should I add to 10 so that I get 8 minus 2? So V2 will be minus 2. This cell is again occupied cell. So minus 2 is there. How much should I add to minus 2 so that I get cost is equal to 30? It is 32. So 32 minus 2 is equal to 30. And similarly V3 value I will calculate. This is 8. So I have obtained all UIs and VJs. Then I will calculate delta IJ. Now for the new allocation, when I have already calculated UIs and VJs, I will now calculate delta IJ, that is the opportunity cost associated with each unoccupied cell. Delta IJ is equal to UI plus VJ minus CIJ. UI VJ values are already calculated. CIJ is the cost of that IJth cell. So first unoccupied cell is this one. This is occupied, so this is unoccupied cell. We will calculate opportunity cost for this cell. So this is delta 1 2, first row and second column. Similarly 1 3, delta 1 3 will be also calculated. Then we will calculate delta 2 1. Similarly delta 2 4, delta 3 1, delta 3 3. Delta 1 2 will be U1 plus V2 minus C12. U1 value is 0. V2 value, V2 is minus 2, and C12, that is cost in the 1 2th cell. Cost is 30. So it is minus 30. So the value is minus 32. So that means the opportunity cost for this unselected route is minus 32. So negative opportunity cost. So that means there is no loss to the organization. If it had been positive, that means for not selecting this route, the organization is incurring loss. It is foregoing opportunity. So if it is negative, it is good. Similarly for delta 1 3, it is U1 plus V3 is equal to minus C13. So this is equal to 0 plus 8 minus 50 minus 42. And similarly for delta 2 1 U2 plus V1 minus C21, U2 is 32 plus V1 is 19 minus C21, 21 is minus 70. The value is minus 29. And similarly for each unoccupied cell, if we calculate opportunity cost, it is coming minus 18, minus 11, minus 52. So you can see that all the opportunity cost for the unoccupied cells are negative now. Minus 32, minus 42, minus 29, minus 18, minus 11, minus 52. So all delta IJ are negative, and no delta IJ is equal to 0. So that means the solution is unique and optimal. Because delta IJ is negative, there is no positive opportunity cost for any of the unselected route. So that means we have reached optimality. And also because none of the delta IJ is 0, so that means the solution is unique. So this is the final transportation schedule, and this is the unique, or this is the only one transportation schedule which is giving us minimum transportation cost. There is no alternative solution yielding the same transportation cost is available. So if we calculate the total transportation cost, so first the conclusion is solution is optimal and unique. and the total transportation cost, if we calculate, this will be 19 into 5 plus 10 into 2 plus 30 into 2 plus 40 into 7 plus 8 into 6 plus 20 into 12. If you calculate, this is coming rupees 743. 743. Earlier the transportation cost was, for the initial solution, the transportation cost was 779, and now the transportation cost is 743. That means by using this modified distribution method, we are able to reduce the transportation cost. And because all the delta ij's are negative, that means this is the minimum transportation cost. It cannot be further reduced. This is the ideal, or you can say best solution, optimal solution. We have reduced around rupees 36 by altering this transportation schedule. So this is the final transportation schedule. That means goods should be transported, 5 units of goods should be transported from source 1 to destination 1, 7 units of goods should be transported from source 2 to destination 3, and likewise. And if we follow this transportation schedule, the total transportation cost will be rupees 743. So this is the final answer.